In the offseason, we talked about your quarterback, and your quarterback talked about, and you all talked about working on his pocket presence. Do you really sense that he has done that over the first third of the season, and how has that benefited your offense?
You know, I've had a bunch of people ask me that. You know, statistically, I don't know what the difference is. I haven't compared it to last year. I just know that I think he's done a better job of seeing the field, not bailing right away as he did a year ago. And then when he's ran, I think he's used pretty good judgment in getting out of bounds or sliding, which he didn't do last year, which we begged him to slide. So he's probably slid more in the first 5 games than he slid all last year, which means he's, you know, it's another sign of growing up and protecting the football and not being reckless. There's no doubt we have some more design runs in for him, so he knows that. But, you know, I think what you also see is his ability with a little bit more freedom and understanding of the offense to change plays instead of looking back over at us all the time. He's got some parameters. He's been able to get us into some good plays. And the key with that with quarterbacks is, you know, everybody wants the perfect play or a great play. To me, that's not what quarterback play is if you're going to change plays. What it is keeping us out of horrendous plays, negative yardage plays. And, you know, I think he understands that a lot. I know he understands that a lot more this year in year 2 than year 1, and he should.
We'll go back to Chip.
Kevin, have you addressed or will you address your players about the rumors with your name being associated with the USC job?
No, I don't ever talk about that. That's always going to be around. I mean, you know, they only talk about coaches 2 ways, and one of them is you're not going to be around, and the other way is, you know, you're either moving on or something else is happening. So as long as I'm not in that first conversation, we're doing something right. And our players get that, our recruits get that. I understand it. I don't talk about those types of things with anybody because, you know, it's just part of the job.
Yeah, Sam.
I know you had it a lot after off season at Houston. What did you learn from the experience of handling that type of speculation, and how do you approach it?
I mean, I don't approach it. I just don't talk about it. So, you know, it's going to be talked about no matter what. And like I've said before, if they're only talking about you a couple of ways, and if they're not talking about you at all, it's probably there's some other issues. So, you know, that's part of it. That's always going to be the case, I hope. And you know, it means that you're winning, and that you're winning the right way, and you're doing things that are helpful, and you're doing and being real positive about it. So, from my standpoint, it's not a job of management. I just don't even approach it.
Questions? Over here, Jeff. James.
Kevin, can you talk about your relationship with John and how personally it's developed since you first got on campus almost 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think you know, it's probably a little bit different. I think every coach, position coach, and head coach has a different style of dealing with players. I'm just a firm believer that as a head coach, your relationship with the quarterback, with the starting quarterback, has got to be a very, very unique one in the fact that unlike a lot of the other players on the team, a quarterback, much like the head coach, gets way too much credit when you win, but you get most of the blame when you lose. And so the feeling that you have and the sense of responsibility that you have are a lot different than a lot of other positions. And the ability for you to be able to communicate with that young man in a different manner, I think, is important. So whether it was here or Houston, you know, I think the relationship that I've had with he and Case is a very, very different one. And because of the stress level that they're under, not only during the game, but the whole time. So, you know, from a relationship standpoint, I would categorize it as a close one.
Far right, Gabe.
Coach, how pleased have you been with DeShazer Everett's ability to play wherever you needed to play?
With one hand
Yeah.
and
with
score
one hand.
touchdowns, yeah, he's playing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know,
And
I can't wait till he gets that cast off, then maybe he'll score twice in a game. He scored the last 2 weeks playing, we moved him from corner to safety, he's making tackles. He's scored in back-to-back weeks, and just an invaluable piece to what we're doing. He understands what we're trying to do, has really given us, playing out of position, basically, because he's our best corner. So, we move him, you give up something you think, but he's also one of our better DBs. He gives us speed back in the back, and has saved some touchdowns this year, no doubt, and given us the opportunity to line up and play defense again. And I can't tell you how critical that's been. So, he's another guy. Anytime you have a team that's winning, you have to have some unselfish players. And I put him in that group with, Mike Evans just goes in there, had never been on kickoff return. We had a player go down, and Coach Banks explained to him what to do. And our longest kickoff return of the day, he just goes in there and does it and runs back off the field because he wants to win. And, when you have players like that that'll jump in, Coach, I haven't played that position, or DeShazer Everett is a classic example of, it's hard playing safety here. It's a little bit easier playing corner because you're out there with one guy. Safety, you got all kinds of different formations and fits and different things in there and tackling. And so, his unselfishness is another great example to this team of what it is to be a teammate and try to win games. Not being selfish and just saying, hey, I'm just going to do this. Somebody else handle that. I'll take that over. And you'll see him too on a number of special teams. Covering kicks, returning kicks. He's on the front line on kickoff return. He's doing a heck of a job for us, and I think that is a great example for the young players on this team.
Sam, down front.
What's the health status on Kirby Ennis, Darian Claiborne, and Mike Evans?
Mike Evans is limping around a little bit. He needs this week off. We just discussed that this morning. I said, I don't really care if he does much this week. I think he's pretty much proven that he's a tough guy. He's limping around. Darian Claiborne's saying he's got a thigh bruise. I look for him to be back next week. Kirby Ennis is a lot more serious than that, and so he'll continue to evaluate that and then figure out where he is here by the end of the week.
It's neat for him, right?
Yeah.
Cease, down front.
Kevin, can you talk about where you've seen improvement on your defense the last couple of games and where they definitely need to move forward?
We need to move forward. I think the communication, as soon as we get something going and we get Kirby back, and then he's out of the game, half the game. Then he comes back and he's out. So we got Isaiah Golden in there. We're back to where we were. I think Darian Claiborne has given us a shot in the arm from a tackling perspective. Are we fitting everything right now? No, but we're better than we were. I think the consistency up front at the linebacker position, Darian's really helped us. Stephen Jenkins being back full-time has helped us. And we've really kind of solidified who we are until Kirby, which is, as big an anchor as we've got up front. He went down in that game. So it'll be interesting to see, where he is. We'll be back to putting Isaiah Golden and those guys back on the field. Hardrick Walker inside and moving Alonzo. By the way, Alonzo, that was the best game he's played. He made a bunch of tackles and held up at the point of attack, which is really encouraging. So, no, we're not there yet. We needed to get off the field. We gave up. The interesting thing is, you watch the video, we had less MAs, mental errors, than we've had all year, but they were critical. You have one guy that doesn't fit here, it's a long run. That's those two backs at Arkansas are pretty good backs now. So they're putting 100 yards on everybody they play, and if you get the wrong crease. I mean, they're good. And they had a great plan. Jim Cheney did an excellent job as the offensive coordinator, mixing it up, throwing all kinds of stuff at us and really keeping us off balance. But like I said, I think the key is we made enough stops in a situation where we had to and created turnovers. And so, you know, when you go on the road and you win the turnover battle, you know, 2-0 or 3-0, you're usually going to win a game every time. And, you know, we really harped on that. And, you know, as our defense gets better, you know, we got to be opportunistic and create turnovers, but offensively, we got to hang on to the ball, and that's pretty much the recipe for success on the road.